So maybe the following year, 1958, maybe that was Friday the 13th. She killed those two counselors, and now she's killing the other ones. So she doesn't want what happened to her son. Well, okay, what happened to her son was he drowned while the camp counselors weren't paying attention. They were off screwing around, having sex, partying, whatever, and she takes her revenge on just camp counselors in general. So every time they try to reopen that place, she tries to keep it shut down, I guess. So basically her motivation is, she doesn't want, I don't know, just some crazy whacked out mother trying to protect kids from what happened to her kid, I guess. So that was interesting. And then the gag at the end where Jason comes up out of the water, that's just a dream sequence, so even then, you don't envision Jason as being the killer. I mean, because they don't even mention Jason's name up until Mrs. Voorhees reveals herself, and then you find out who Jason was, or who the boy was. His name was Jason. So you're really not expecting something to come up out of the lake, but then it doesn't make sense because he's dead. Why would he come up out of the lake? But oh, it's a dream, so she wakes up, she thinks the dream was real, and then who knows, maybe it was. So the cops, they didn't find any boy Jason, so she was like, then he's still there, and then that's the end. So it's kind of set up for, well, in theory it's kind of set up for a sequel, but I guess not really, because she had a dream, she was, shook up from the whole experience, so she just thought her dream was real. That's why she said that he's still there. So yeah, I like the mystery factor. It had a lot of suspense. It didn't rely too much on gore. It kind of relied more on suspense and stalking, especially with the POV shots and the dark atmosphere. It had a really good setting. I mean, the campsite, the woods, everything. It was really kind of murky and dark, and that added to the whole fear factor for me. Because you're always squinting, looking around, where could the killer be in the background, but it's so dark, you just can't see anything. And then the gore effects by Tom Savini were pretty good. They don't show all the kills, some of them are just implied, then shown after the fact. But you got a slit throat, you got the beheading, you got an axe in the face. What else? Oh, my favorite death, Kevin Bacon's death, where he's on the bunk bed, on the bottom bunk, and Ned's body is on top, and then drips blood down on his forehead. He doesn't know Ned's up there, and then because you're looking, because of the misdirection, you're looking towards the top bunk where the blood's dropping down. You're not expecting the killer under the bed just swoop his hand around, grab his forehead, and then stick a spear through his neck. I mean, that really caught me off guard first time I saw it. And then you got a good score by Harry Manfredini. It's kind of a mixture of Jaws and Psycho, and it's a lot more low-key than all the sequels. It's a little more somber. It's not really as energetic and goofy, I guess. The only complaint I really have about this movie is some of the characters have tunnel vision, where, little things right there that they should see, but they don't because they're looking this way. They don't have peripheral vision that spreads out this way. Or, for example, the bunk bed where, Kevin Bacon or Jack and Marcy's death, where they're fucking on the bed before they get on the bottom bunk. It's like if Ned's on the top bunk, they're standing there, and the top bunk's at eye level, and they're standing far enough away to be able to see something, you know, suspicious, like his feet, you know, because I think some kind of sleeping bag or something was covering his right side. But then again, you know, the killer under the bed, it's like if they were just looking this way, facing it, like they should be able to see stuff. And then, you know, sometimes the characters don't look where they don't look where they should look. Like Adrienne King when when a body drops in, I think I forget her name, but a body drops into the window, and it kind of looks like the killer threw the body in, but she just looks at the body, and you know, she doesn't even think to look out of the window from where it came from. So that always kind of bugged me a little bit. It takes a little, you gotta suspend disbelief a little bit, but those minor gripes aside, overall, I think. And next up, we got Friday the 13th Part 2, directed by Steve Miner in 1981. And it's basically the same plot as the first one. We got a bunch of camp counselors setting up a new campsite. It's not Camp Crystal Lake this time. It's somewhere further off in the area. The same area, I guess. In the old Camp Crystal Lake side now, it's off limits, so you can't go there. But yeah, they all get killed off one by presumably Jason this time, who supposedly saw his mom beheaded that night by Adrienne King. And then he hunts her down to her apartment and then kills her within the first 10 minutes of the movie. I don't know where she lived or how he found her. Maybe she lived in the same town or something. Otherwise, I don't know how he tracked her down. Like he wouldn't look her up in the phone book or anything like that. So yeah, you know, you gotta suspend disbelief a little bit. But yeah, he kills her and then kills all the new counselors. And let me see, I forget the actors' names except Amy Steele, who's the heroine this time. And I thought she did a good job. The other characters were kind of forgettable, but their deaths were decent. You got like, you know, you got a slit throat by the machete. You got a spear in two people fucking on a bed. You got stabbings. What else? God, I can't remember all of them. Oh yeah, the wheelchair death, where the machete just like appears out of nowhere and smacks a guy in the face. I don't know. I don't really get that death. Like, where the hell did that machete come from? Like, did Jason swing it? Was he standing out of frame, or did he throw it from far away? It just kind of appeared out of nowhere. Like, and Jason wasn't in front of him or behind him, so I don't know. But, you know, it made me jump, so I guess that's all that really counts. I don't think the kills were done by Tom Savini this time. They're done by Carl Fullerton. Yeah, Carl Fullerton. And they, you know, they were decent. They weren't that creative. They were kind of basic, in my opinion, but bloody enough. And the stalk sequences leading up to them were scary enough for me. It was all still suspenseful and scary. It wasn't goofy and campy yet like the later sequels. So yeah, you know, it's a decent follow-up. I definitely recommend it.